We have some more significant NHL signings to talk about here today, including Brandon Saad, Corey Perry, Jani Hakanpaa, and a whole lot more. All that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As we continue on here, day 2 now of NHL Free Agent Frenzy, we've had some more NHL signings that are fairly significant and could have a big impact here. Okay, let's kick things off with the news that Corey Perry is leaving the Montreal Canadiens. Perry, of course, signed last year with the Habs on a 1-year deal. Turned out to be a really terrific addition, was a warrior for them in the playoffs. Of course, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, which for him was a second consecutive year in the finals, losing against the Tampa Bay Lightning in both cases, of course, previously with the Dallas Stars. And in the classic case of if you can't beat them, join them, he's heading to Tampa. The Lightning signed him to a 2-year deal valued at $1 million per season. Now, to be honest, I don't know if this is completely a case. If we can't beat him, join him. I do think he was interested in returning to Montreal. I do believe that the Habs made an offer based on what we've heard. However, it looks as though the 2-year deal from Tampa might have been the only offer to give them an extra year, and that extra security was important to him, along with a chance to win a Stanley Cup. I think those were the two main things he was looking for. He also said he wanted a place where he could, maybe call home for more than just 1 year. And of course, in Tampa, because of the less tax that he'll pay down there, he'll take home even more of his paycheck. I would assume the Habs offer was probably closer to a 1 year $900K or 1 year $1 million, something to that effect. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I'd assume. So he heads over to the Lightning. Of course, now they have Corey Perry and Pat Maroon. Maroon's been in 3 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals. Perry's been in 2 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals. What does this mean? Does this mean the Lightning are going to go for a three-peat? I do think they're going to have an excellent team and will have an awesome chance to do that. I would looking like the Lightning's 4th line this coming year is probably going to be Perry, Maroon, and Pierre Bellemare, who they signed as well. So that's another, really veteran forward line there that could really be tough to play against, and will certainly do their fair share of throwing a lot of hits, blocking a lot of shots, and just being tough to play against. So we'll see. But interesting to see Perry head to Tampa. Now, the other big signing today was Brandon Saad, of course, played last year with the Colorado Avalanche, had a real solid year for them. Slow start, but picked up towards the end and into the playoffs. Of course, formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks, where he's won multiple Stanley Cups, played with Columbus as well, and now he's heading to the St. Louis Blues. Now, the Blues have lost a fair bit of players lately. They lost Mike Hoffman in free agency. They lost Jaden Schwartz. They're supposed to be trading Tarasenko. They might lose Tyler Bozak. It's kind of a forward group that's somewhat decimated right now, but Saad should help be able to be a top 6 forward who can help, produce 20 to 30 goals, where he's been pretty consistent at that level for a while. Brandon Saad gets a 5-year deal valued at $4.5 million per season, which is actually a pretty decent cap hit for a guy like him. 29 years old now, so it's not going to take him to too much into his later 30s. The contract's comparable with a lot of other goal scorers around his level, like Hoffman, for example, or Schwartz that we just talked about. A couple prime examples there. So to me, this is a really solid contract for St. Louis. He should fit in nicely with that group. Like I said, it's not too long of a term. It's not too much money, and it should be just right. But the Blues are going to be an interesting team to watch next year. They're certainly going to be very different looking, especially in the forward group. I would suspect that they're not quite done tinkering with those forwards, and especially if we see a Tarasenko trade, be interesting to see what kind of return they end up getting. It could reshape things here a little bit further, but interesting signing and a good deal there by Doug Armstrong. Now, also on the defensive side of things here, we have a signing with the Dallas Stars. Jani Hakanpaa gets a 3-year contract. Of course, he's bounced around a little bit. Played last year mostly with the Carolina Hurricanes, was with the Ducks before that. He's kind of viewed upon as being a real steady defender that doesn't really make mistakes. He kind of really, sees the game at a slower pace so he can make the right moves, make the high percentage plays. He's got good size. He's just a guy that, it's like you just don't notice him a lot sometimes because, like I said, he's doing all the little things well, and he's just steady back there. But he had multiple offers on the table from a variety of teams, including the Maple Leafs. I know the Carolina Hurricanes, I think to some degree, had interest to bring him back, but the big thing for him was going to Dallas. He gets a 3-year term, which was important. And the other big thing with the Dallas Stars as well is they have a lot of Finnish players. He said that was important to him as well. I mean, obviously they have Miro Heiskanen, obviously a Finnish player. They've got Hintz and several others. I think they've got like 4 or 5 Finns altogether there. So, but those two things combined were important. His cap hit's only going to be $1.5 million. He'll probably be a third pair defenseman for them, and really, overall, I think that's a really solid pickup and a good piece of business done by Stars GM Jim Nill. Now, we also saw late last night the Buffalo Sabres signed 2 goaltenders, both of which only signed 1-year deals at $750,000, and that's Craig Anderson, a longtime Ottawa Senators goalie, played last year with the Capitals, was mostly their third stringer or the taxi squad guy, did get a chance to play a little bit as well as in the playoffs due to injury, made the most of it, played well, but obviously was moving on. Washington had other plans, and actually Washington GM Brian McClellan even told the media when he was talking about his goaltending situation that he suspected that Anderson was retiring. So I don't know if there was any interest maybe on Capital side to bring him back, or maybe Craig Anderson didn't want to go back there. I really don't know. But ultimately, he's not retiring. He's going to Buffalo, which, no offense to the Sabres, but you really have to wonder why he put himself through that. I mean, at his stage of his career, he's made lots of money. He's around 40 years old. He's got 2 little kids. His wife and family are based out of Florida. It's just an interesting scenario. He's not going there to win a Stanley Cup because he knows that they're not going to be in that kind of situation this year. You have to think maybe he's hoping just to get a chance to play, hopefully look good, and then maybe he'll get traded and have a chance to chase a cup that way. To me, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. They also signed former Shark and Leaf goaltender Aaron Dell. Of course, Aaron Dell's never really been a starter, so I'd have to think right now you're probably looking at Anderson playing more of the games, with Dell maybe being, more of a backup. I don't know if they'll do a 1A, 1B. It's really hard to say. At this point, the Sabres are probably in for a tough year. And the good thing, too, I guess, is that they have both these guys on 1-year deals. The hope would be that youngster Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen would have a solid year and be able to maybe take over the year after. But I know last year wasn't overly great for him, but it's really hard to tell without seeing a lot of game film on him at the AHL level, especially because the teams in front of him weren't overly great. Like, he was doing well in Finland when he was playing over there before they came back to the NHL, getting back started up again. But then his time in the AHL and even the limited amount of NHL time, the results were not good. But like I said, that can be a direct result of the defensive team in front of you as well. So it's really hard to say, but I know he's still only like 22, still has a bright future, and can hopefully still be a big piece for them moving forward here. The Buffalo Sabres also signed veteran forward John Hayden on a 1-year deal at $750,000. Of course, Hayden brings some good size, decent defensive play. Will likely play, hard to say really. I was going to say a bottom 6 role, but with Buffalo and considering the roster right now, it's really hard to say who's going to play in what spots right now with all the movement that we've seen. And to the guy who constantly leaves comments just about every single video on the channel saying that the Chicago Blackhawks need to bring John Hayden home to Chicago where he belongs, I'm sorry, buddy, I don't think it's going to happen. I know you comment that probably 50 times a month here on the channel, which is totally fine by me. I really don't care that you do that. But I don't think your dream's coming true, and Hayden's not going back to the Hawks. They've had plenty of opportunities to reacquire him, and it's not happened. So there we go. Unfortunately, I just don't see it. Quick deal from yesterday as well. The Dallas Stars actually signed Braden Holtby, formerly in Vancouver, which I didn't actually miss in my other videos. He gets a 1-year deal at $2 million, and you might be saying, well, why would they sign Holtby? And I kind of asked the same question, to be honest. It's kind of a puzzling one to me. They obviously have Ben Bishop, they have Anton Khudobin, and they have Jake Ottinger. Now, when it comes to Ben Bishop, not a surprise to hear from the Stars organization that he's likely not going to be able to play at the beginning of the year. He's probably going to remain on long-term injury reserve. So they even said that they're not sure that he's going to play again. So it's not 100% clear that Ben will continue to play next year or ever. So I can understand that. But they ran last year pretty well the whole year because Bishop was out with Khudobin and Ottinger. And to me, they did okay. So I kind of half wonder if they're planning another move. Is there maybe an Anton Khudobin trade coming? Which doesn't really make sense because there's been so much goalie movement. If that was going to happen, you think it would have happened by now. It's just kind of confusing. I mean, Ottinger was fine with what he did last year, I thought. So why do they need Holtby? So they have 3 quality NHL quality goaltenders there, and there's other teams looking for goaltending. So I wonder if we'll see a Stars trade with one of their other 2 goaltenders here. A couple other deals that are not done yet, but rumored to be happening, is David Krejci in Boston. There were some reports that they thought they were getting close, but yet nothing's been announced. So hard to say what's going on there. They do have plenty of forwards already under contract, so pretty safe to say, based on their cap space availability and what they've already got under contract, and if he does go back, that somebody's going to have to get moved out. So we'll see how the Bruins handle that. And of course, no big surprise, but the Islanders, Lou Lamoriello, have been awfully quiet. We know Lou likes to keep his secrets and not leak anything out, which is, again, no big shocker. Rumored to be bringing back. The Islanders were rumored to be getting closer to bringing back Casey Cizikas on a longer-term deal to hopefully finish out his career with the Isles. They're also close to bringing back Kyle Palmieri on what's believed to be a longer-term deal. I don't know how many years we're looking at. I'm going to guess somewhere between 4 and 5 or something like that. And then Zach Parise likely signing there too, but none of that's been confirmed, so we'll have to stay tuned. There's still a decent amount of free agents out there that are available, but the quality of free agents certainly starting to dwindle here just a little bit. But if you look at the forward group right now, there's some decent names out there. For example, you still got Thomas Tatar, you've got Nick Ritchie, Eric Stahl, Montreal is out there too. I'm not sure what his career is going to hold here for the future. You get Tyler Bozak, Riley Nash, Marcus Sorensen, Ryan Donato, Bobby Ryan, Andre Kasha, Yevgeny Svechnikov out of Detroit. Alex Galchenyuk was thought to be signing in Toronto, but that hasn't happened, so we don't know what he's doing. Nikita Gusev is still out there as well. Derek Brassard, Alex Chason, Tyler Ennis, Jake Virtanen as well, and many others. So we'll hard to say where some of these guys go. So we'll obviously have more signings to talk about here in short term. Of course, on the D side of things, it's kind of really dwindled even further, as well as goaltenders. When it comes to defense, you're looking at guys like Ryan Murray, Eric Branson's another one that's still out there. Sammy Vatanen, Eric Gustafsson, Jason Demers, guys like that are still unsigned and available here on the market. So we'll see what the future holds for them as well. So stay tuned. We do have another video coming up a little bit later talking about the latest NHL trade rumors around the league, and there could be more signings as well, maybe a trade or two. You just never know. We've been so busy here the last few days, it's hard to say if today will actually be a calmer day or not. In the meantime, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news and rumors on all 32 NHL teams. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.